Hey everybody, welcome back. It's good to have you here. I am really grateful to have a chance to have Ginger Kern as the guest on the podcast today. I'm so excited to introduce her to you all and to have you here, Ginger. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Good to be back. It almost feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, so you and I met in 2019 in Boulder, Colorado. We were working at a human potential startup. Uh,
Ooh,
woo.
woo.
Woo. Um, doing tech sales together, which is hilarious. This is pre-COVID. Um,
Yeah. It might have even been 2018, to be honest. It was a while ago, yeah.
oh, yeah. Yeah, and I was joking with you before we hit the recording button. It's like in terms of number of hours and calendar days, like we haven't spent that much time together. It's not nothing, it's something, and it's also not like a crazy amount, but I feel it's like I always feel you around energetically. I feel like we're traversing similar territories and exploring different, like, I mean, you and I both have a real deep devotional commitment to diving into the mystery of life and exploring what the heck is going on in this thing that we call reality.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
And I would agree. Yep. I definitely agree with that.
And so from where I sit, and help me color this in and flesh it out. But from where I sit, it seems like when you and I met in 2019, I experienced you as someone with quite a lot of access to presence. I mean, had traveled to like over 40 countries at that point in your life, like or
Not
20,
quite. Not
not
quite.
quite,
Yeah, it was like 25 or 30 at that point, I think.
25 or 30,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You know.
And just like deeply, I know you were, I have memories of you at that time. I know how big of a dancer that you were and you still are. A real passion for language and food and culture, and it's just I feel like it's like sometimes we just meet people who are like a smorgasbord of like all the places they've been, all the experiences they've had, people who are real connoisseurs of experience, right? So there's all these cultures that walk with you, and I really felt that from you. um and then it seems like over the last years you've really deepened into something that feels much more profound and also a lot simpler in some ways. It's like really deep in embodiment. It feels like a coming down would be the gesture, like a deep, deep, deep downward gesture. Um, it feels more potent. It feels more clear. It feels more palpable. It feels more honest. Not that you were being dishonest before, but it just feels more like cut through all the crap and get to what's most essential, just right through the noise to the pulse of it all. Um, so I want to honor you and appreciate you and celebrate you, as a real. I just put you in the category of like the real ones, like I know you're a teacher now. I know you're a teacher now. I know you've developed quite a following. I know a lot of people work with you, and it's really rare to have people who so deeply walk the path that they invite people into. And my experience of you is you really do that. Like you're deeply, deeply, like I'm not gonna just spit words at you and try and give you concepts of things. I'm gonna share from my own lived experience. And more than any of that, I'm gonna be the teaching through my presence and through my transmission. So that's my experience of you. That's what it's like for me, being around you and watching you. I want to invite you in and help me color it in somewhere.
I'd be happy to play some coloring games with you, little
Cool.
coloring books. Yeah, no paint by numbers here though. Probably just like freeform coloring. Love that. Thank you so much, Forrest. And yeah, like I said, it's just good. It's good to be back with you. Um, I have a similar experience of sort of like orbiting different fields where there are some really beautiful Venn diagram overlaps with where you've been traveling to, bring in the traveler aspect these past couple of years. And I feel everything that you said very deeply, in particular, what has me sort of like settle backwards and feel very seen and, yeah, just very grounded in myself, to be honest, is I can't teach something that is not something that I'm living. It feels terrible to my body. I'm actually, compared to when you and I met, um, I feel like there has been a deepening of just how in approval of my own sensitivity I actually am. I'm, and I'm not going to say any mental labels like highly sensitive person. Like I don't identify at that level at all. I just feel, I feel it's great, you know? So instead of that wonderful and like beautiful phase of my life where I got to go really wide and like so vast and like everywhere in the world and all the foods and all the languages and all the cultures and da, 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 um, that condensation that you're speaking to feels very true and very real. And I appreciate that I had that experience. I so loved the young woman that I was when I went on those adventures. And she's amazing. She's still inside of me. Like I have not exiled her one bit, but like she's resting. She's like resting inside of a larger Russian doll, so to speak. um, yeah, and I appreciate you naming the downward drop because I feel that. I feel that in my body. I feel that in my voice. I feel that in how I like the place that I bring through any share or teaching or whatever. Like it's coming from a deeper place within me now versus before. I would say it's probably, it was kind of coming from like heart up. If I was lucky, like sometimes head up, if we're really being honest. So we all have that phase too. So yeah, it feels good to be in a place of feeling myself and yeah, just like clearing out so much to be able to let things come through me. And it feels really good. I'm grateful for it. So yeah, I'm grateful to be here.
To have you here.
Yeah.
It feels to me like you are responding to something in your work in the world and in what I see you sharing on Instagram. And I get the feeling every time I see you post anything, to me, it feels like you're in a very deep relationship with something. There's definitely something specific that you're in relationship with. And there's also many things you're in relationship with.
Yeah.
Um, but I see this infinity loop and I get this co-generative dynamic of a relationship that you're in that's informing and shaping you and you're shaping it and together you're creating well I'll just say creating. So I wonder what happens for you hearing me sharing this.
Yeah, a number of things come through. It's like, yes, that feels true. It's like, absolutely. Um, which ironically, like, yes, I feel somewhat in response to items. Like, I could give you a list of all sorts of things that I'm responding to at the moment. Um, but I think the bigger thing in the background is I'm just listening. I'm listening for a pulse and I'm trying to translate. So all of those years of learning languages and whatnot, it's like, cool, that was for, a given purpose and it serves me well. But it's like something I do love about my humans. I have a very deep ability to listen. I've just taken that and I've taken it over into the realm of listening to the field or listening to energy or listening to what's in the background and then responding to either something that's directly there that needs to be brought forth into consciousness, which even recently I did for a client of yours with great impact and results that were very uncomfortable for him, but in a good way, you know. But that's one aspect is like the listening to that thing that needs to be spoken and then speaking it with consent. And another aspect is more like it's almost like feel sensing for the thing that's off, like the thing that's like so close. I feel it almost like an energetic chiropractic adjustment. Like if there's like a thing that's like just slightly off, and if I just put exactly the right energy into exactly the right spot, just like, and then life force flows again. And like that's actually the thing that I'm in service to in the background is the vitality piece, the life force, life, life. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah, you're using the word listening, and when I'm listening to you, I also feel it feels very kinesthetic, like a kinesthetic kind of listening, and I see you moving your body as you're talking about it. So it feels to me
Mm-hmm.
like it's a very sensorial, kinesthetic way of
Very,
finding the vitality and the life force and going, oh, here's the opportunity for a little bit more alignment and flow.
absolutely. Yeah. And you mentioned the piece about my dance background that has been with me since before I was born. My mother was a professional ballet dancer and performed with me up until she was 5 months pregnant with me. So I like literally was gestated in an environment of like high movement and like, yeah, high vitality, so to speak, right? Like dancers' bodies are just crazy in terms of the energy that flows through them and how it expresses. And I've, with dance, I think the just the body awareness that has come for me from, I honestly don't even know how many years, um, whatever it's been, decades and decades, um, of moving not just my own body, but you know this about me, I've gravitated much more to partner dance. And what does it do when my body comes into contact with another person's body in purely a platonic context? Like truly a context of like we're showing up to move together and to meet each other in the emerging moment. That's like literally what partner social dance is. It's improv. You're not choreographing anything. You're literally, you maybe have never met that person before ever. You have no idea what their body is capable of or their physiology or anything. So there's this quality of, yeah, bodily listening that has been repped thousands and thousands of times in my lived experience of life. And then, of course, with that many repetitions, your body starts to pick up subtleties of like, oh, that pattern means this, that pattern means that. It's like, I'm sure body workers have the same experience, laying on of hands and touching so many people physically. They can just look at a physical form, which I'm beginning to pick up the sense of because I've sort of started dabbling in that general terrain. Um, but you can just look and see like, wow, if only their pelvis were just untwisted a half an inch, not even like a quarter of an inch, their whole spine would stack. And then they'd probably not have migraines anymore. It's like it's that type of listening, but it's on a more relational, energetic level now in terms of how I work with women and how I work with couples and their relationships and their their fields interacting. And yeah, like part of that is their communication, but it's obviously not as overt as just the words that they're saying to each other. Yeah.
Well, I just want to welcome in this practice into our podcast in the moment, meaning I know we're two people here talking to each other, but I also want to welcome the field. And, if I'm asking you a question and you're feeling like the field is saying, take it this way, feel free to do that, obviously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel very free.
Beautiful. Great.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, I have a desire because this is being recorded just for your sake. Is it possible for you to either come closer to the camera or bring the camera down slightly so
Yeah.
there's like more of your chest in frame? Thanks.
Is that better?
A little better. Yeah, could even do with like an inch more or like a half an inch more. We're real close.
How's that?
Close, but I actually feel like the distance that you had it before
Yeah.
and then just like slightly more down so I can see more of your chest is like so helpful. That's perfect.
Cool.
Thank you. Oh, that feels so much better to me. Thank you.
Aw, that's
I'm
cool.
like, oh, he's here now. Yay. Hello, I can feel you. Great. Awesome. Sweet. It's exactly like that. It's literally like, I don't know why I just asked for that. I know that there's something coming through me and then I feel it bodily on a bodily level. I'm like, oh my gosh, yay, I can feel so much more of him now. And it's like, yay.
Yeah.
Then I get all girlish and the way that it expresses is just like, yay, delight.
Mhm.
It's like it's such a sweet thing that I really love about myself. It's very endearing.
Giddy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a telltale sign. I'm like, yay.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you want to say more about the work that you do with women and couples?
I think at some point, yeah, we're gonna kind of weave in and out of it. I feel like more interesting is probably just to track bigger themes that you and I are both sensing, because again, we have somewhat like overlapping experiences of the broader field, like the broader relational field at this time, at this moment. And I think like through that tunnel or that portal, we're gonna talk about a lot of the things that I do with women and with couples. Yeah, yeah.
When you say that, it seems like we're living in a time right now where it's like the systems and the institutions and the technologies and the cultures and the ways of being that have gotten us to here are going through a refinement process, and like there's a shaking out of an old layer to come even more deeper in alignment with who we are. And there's like I'm really big on the word congruence, right? For me congruence is like is what I hear you saying and what I feel when you're saying it in alignment. Like that's what congruence is for me.
Cool.
And so, we have, for example, organizations all over the world that say like we're making the world a better place, and then we look at what's actually going on, and it's like no, that well, there's obviously an opportunity for refinement here. And so I feel like a lot of the work you and I are doing is inviting people down into deeper depths and going, whatever we create is infused with the consciousness it's created from.
Yeah.
And so there's an opportunity to recreate reality from a deeper depth that's more congruent and more in alignment. And it requires integrity and honesty, clear seeing, uh, trauma work, like a long, long list of things we can get into. Um, Capacity to set boundaries, breathing.
Very helpful. Breathing, super critical. Also food, very helpful.
Food, yeah,
Sunshine,
sunshine, electrolytes.
movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Basics. I mean, we're really, really complicated houseplants, and that's literally, 101 that most people miss. So if you take better care of your houseplants than your own body, we have big issues to address first before we talk about soul stream and conscious relating and
Right.
all of these very spiritual terms. It's like, cool. Yeah, but did you sleep enough?
Right.
You
Right. Exactly.
know?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And so there's like I mean, this can be pretty daunting, right? It's like there's many times in my life that I've gone, wow, my entire personality is a coping mechanism. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, I've hit that point as well. Totally. Yeah, it's very confronting, right? It's like, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
wow. And we're hitting this point collectively where we're like, wow, we've manufactured all of this. Like we've created all of this together. And there's an opportunity for some responsibility and accountability and going, Okay, what do we want to create together? And I feel like you and I are doing a lot of the capacity building work with people to support just on the most basic level in our own life, in our own house, in our relationships, in our businesses. How do we show up and how do we walk through the world?
Yeah, and also there's a destruction element of that too. It's, capacity building, or like what do we want to create, and, you know, refinement, like all of those words tend to kind of evoke this like upward flourishing energetic, which is so beautiful and absolutely part of the cycle. And for most people, there's such still a rejection of the going down, the descent part of that process, the deconstructing of things that really have not been working, and the fear of like, what does it mean to let go of X, Y, or Z that we've been running on, you know, that has generated the present that we're realizing is maybe not so sweet as we thought it would be. So, yeah, I think a portion of my work, or probably yours as well, um, is also listening to that. It's like what needs or wants to die, or what needs, honestly, what in the body, like to make it very concrete, like what pocket of balled up energy in my body am I avoiding feeling? Where does it live? What does it feel like in my literal physical biological vessel in my body? It's very tactile. It's not heady at all. And can I actually be with it and either like get behind it, hold it, or place loving attention on it, see if it maybe wants to move on its own? Maybe it has something to say to me. Like energy talks. I think most people don't realize that. And so we live our lives sort of skating across the surface of the, very, very, very deep lake that is really within us, like deep, deep waters. And all the while, all this energy is saying, like, hey, sort of like waving up at the surface, being like, hey, could you like maybe stop for a second and just like look at me instead of running around like a chicken with your head cut off out there in the world, like creating stuff that eventually you're gonna have to tear down anyway because it's not fully true. It's like I've hit that point many times in my life. I had to, look downwards and be like, oh, I was ignoring that. Whoops. And there's no shame in it either. I think one of the things that yeah, can tend to hijack people is this shame piece that comes in and says, oh my God, you should have known better. You should have done it differently. But of course, that's not really possible. Like, oftentimes we don't know better. We have to hit our heads against the wall first. And that's okay. Like, I have actually a lot more approval than I even did 2, 3 years ago for myself, for my clients, for just, people that I am in more intimate relationship with in my friendships and things like that. It's like, hey, we're gonna mess up. It's totally fine. It sounds trite to say it that way, but it's like, why are we trying to build and refine without just like being with what's here in our bodies? You know, it feels so rushed to me. It's not necessary to go that fast, you know? Or to ignore things and hope that they'll go away. It's like they don't do that because they have important messages for us. And that's perfect. And we listen when we're ready. That's the other part that I've noticed. I'm never going to push a person beyond where what they're actually ready to open to. That doesn't do anybody any good. It's not the point. I have this relationship now with time, especially with my clients, where there's such spaciousness. Where before, 10 years ago, I for sure had agendas, like, oh, we need to get this person to or through this transformation. We have to make sure that they, arrive somewhere. Otherwise, whatever, they didn't get the value or they'll judge me or blah, 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 blah. It's like none of that's real. None of that's true. It's not worth paying attention to because it's just not true. So if I'm just like with my body and present with a person in front of me, and I can be like, hey, okay, like what's actually here? And usually, like 9.5 times out of 10, I'm sure you've had this experience. When we actually meet what's here, either if there's like a ball of energy that's very, very tight, it tends to loosen. And then all of a sudden, life force is freed up. vitality, the things that I stand for. Or if it's not freed up, there's at least some like loving attention put on a spot that probably hasn't been, yeah, it hasn't been tended to in a very long time. But there's space around it. There's nothing, we don't need to do anything about it. It's not a problem. That's the other thing. There's no shame, and it's really not a problem. I know people think it's a problem. It's not. So I rest my case.
Yeah, it's what's going on for me as I'm listening to you is there's like the word bypassing, right? And there's a way that I don't know. There's a lot of consciousness or spiritual or reinventing planetary systems communities that I'm a part of, and I've um,
Whoa. What was that last one? Reinventing planetary
reinventing planetary
systems?
systems. Yeah.
Guys, 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 guys. Like, but did you make your bed this morning, though? I'm sorry. It's just, I have to laugh. It's very, yeah, I get it. We all love like the big and the macro, and it's fun to play out here. But anyway, back to what you're saying.
Yeah, it's there's such wisdom in what you're saying about the did you make your bed this morning, because I've become a little bit disillusioned with some of these gatherings I've gone to and hosted myself, right? It's not just that I'm going
Sure.
to them, I've even convened them. Um, and it's like, when you have basic trust issues that happen between people in a community and they can't get sorted out around, did someone steal my idea or was this person dishonest? And we sort of are like dismissing, like when we dismiss that for the sake of whatever, I don't know, quantum physics or like positive psychology, we miss the whole boat, right? It's like we miss the whole thing. And for me, that's what you're pointing to with the did you make your bed this morning thing. It's like we can really get lost in these grandiose ideas of what we need to do to make the world a better place. And doing that, we miss the basic building blocks through which actually discovering and embodying in connection with each other, we would necessarily manifest a better world to live in. Uh,
Totally. Exactly. Chop wood, carry water. And I'm very bad at that sometimes, self-admittedly. You know, like, of course, we all have our moments of popping out of just very sober relating with reality. Yeah. Which I don't know. I don't know about you, but I've been completely sober, like totally sober for a while now. And I know that you had our mutual friend and acquaintance, Traver Beaumont, and another very sober man. Um, and it's just different. Like no shame for people who are, on their own journeys. Obviously, we're gonna all choose what we choose, but I feel that chop wood, carry water piece becomes a lot more interesting when we're just sober with it. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have been sober for quite a while. It's been, I don't know how many years without alcohol. Funny, it's not like I
Nice.
stopped drinking alcohol, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I just quit drinking alcohol.
Totally. Yep. No, I understand. I do. It was very similar to me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Same thing with drugs and I mean, there's all kinds of stimulants that we use, and in that light, I don't know if I can claim I'm 100% sober. If we include like how often do I have something to eat when I'm actually eating my emotions, I'm not even eating the food.
Mm.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's a real thing. um
Yeah.
but anyway, the capacity to be with what is and the sobriety, like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And where that gets hard, typically, like what I see with clients is it's like it's very hard to sometimes be with high sensation. Very hard to just be with it. We want to fix it or we don't want to look at it. We want to pop out of it. We want to destroy it. We want to kill it off or exile it. We want to ignore it or we want to like off gas it. on someone else, pressure valve release, whatever. And it's like, what if we, and this is part of the capacity building that I think you were speaking to earlier, at least this is my view of it. It's like, okay, cool. If there's a tightness in my solar plexus, what's wrong with me just actually being with it? Like, am I able to do that? Or do I feel this like reflexive need that I'm actually not even quite yet conscious of to pull it up out and like spew it out here? Or, the other route would be to like stuff it further down. It's like, but those are not the only options on the buffet. We've just forgotten slash like have been trained and trained out of the being with part and the reality that by and large, unless we're in an actual life threatening situation, like sensation, high sensation is not going to kill us. There's no tiger in the room. There's no tiger. It doesn't exist. It's just a high sensation. Like there's heat in my chest. Whoop de doo. That my throat is closed. Okay. My cheeks are flushed, or my feet are ice cold, or I have trembling voice, or it's just raw sensation. It's like we're so afraid of raw sensation. And so for, everyone, men and women, everyone, like just that alone would change the world and the planetary systems. Whatever your the group is called that you're involved with. It's like that alone would change everything. We don't need to, deal with all of these like mental systems approach and like game theory and how are we going to like pull the puppet strings of humanity? It's like, why when we can't even sit with a sensation in our body? Guys, calm on, calm back down to earth, literally, and also the earth of your body. That is usually my call for women, especially because again, I work more so with women. Um, and I do believe that the more that we as women are in our bodies with sensation, and not, this is, I'll distinguish this in a moment, not in a way where we are submitted to the waves of our emotions as like ultimate truth, but when we're really with the sensations of our bodies, like we can inform the entire world, we can calibrate the entire world just through sensation alone. Like truly, it's a superpower that women have that we've forgotten or that we have been taking medications to squash and dim because we've been told that it's too much and we shouldn't feel that way and we shouldn't be so sensitive because it's not functional for society and it doesn't fit in. And then we build all of these things that require like what's the word for it? Like think tanks. They require like think tanks to try and like approach solutions in a collaborative way. It's like, guys, but like we missed the exit like 50 stops ago when someone had a sensation in their body that told them that this thing was sort of off and they didn't say anything about it. We don't need another think tank for it. We just need to actually like listen.
Well, it's like the symbolic necktie, right? Like you get dressed to go to work and you cut off everything below the neck, like when you put your neck.
Yeah, sure. Which I know you and I have foregone for many years now. We have said no thank you to that whole experience of life for a while. But
And so
yeah,
we've gotten a world of dehydrated and malnourished structures, right? Structures that are not sourced from the the nectar of life and from the deep feminine. And so there's a recohering happening now. And
yeah, bit by bit. I mean, you can never keep her down. That's the thing. It's like it's just not possible because then you would lose it. Like then it would just be death, right? Like there would be it would be a barren wasteland without her. And although we see that, it's also very heartening to me that I can also see, the greening of the wasteland as well. Like the greening is constantly being regenerated. You can't keep her down, you know.
one of the things that I mean, obviously, really deeply appreciate about you is that there's so many people who could take a stance like the one you're taking and just sort of very quickly start getting into storylines about patriarchy and about how men have fucked everything up and et cetera, et cetera. And I I experience you having a very deep love for men and also having a like being able to acknowledge the truth in all those perspectives. It's like there's wisdom here for sure. Like there's things that we can agree with, but also like come on ladies, like where's the responsibility that we need to take and where's our own sovereignty and um is it really working for you to sit here and just kind of like blame men for everything that's wrong in the world? Like how's that going? What other options could you explore? So I notice I feel like safer when I'm around you to have uncomfortable
Mhm.
conversations because it feels like there's like a genuine intention from where you're coming from, and also like I'm not going to take responsibility for things that you need to take responsibility for, but I am going to take responsibility for things that I need to take responsibility for, and so it feels like there's some reciprocity in
Hmm.
in being an adult.
Ah, it's shockingly refreshing.
Yeah, truly. Like,
I, I get it. I really get it. I get it from the perspective of it's so wonderful and refreshing to be around other women who feel that way as well. So it's like I can't, as you might imagine, it's very challenging to be friends with women who hate men still and who blame men for everything. It's like I can't, I just can't, I can love on them for sure. I mean, but yeah, the refreshing energy that just bubbled through there was just really nice. And thank you for the acknowledgement. I really receive it and it lands seamlessly. That is precisely how I feel it. And, you and I were speaking before we press record about a mutual peer and acquaintance, dear friend of mine, Katie O'Connor. Love her body of work as well. And she and I have spoken for years about this in various ways, just the reality of how much of an anomaly it is for us as women to have never been physically or sexually violated by a man. We just don't have that in our experience of you guys. And thank God, you know. And that's not to say, by the way, that, women who have had that experience don't have the full circle journey of reconciliation with men and total healing. They do. I've seen it happen over and over and over, often in my work, like very personally with my clients, and also through women who carry the same torch. So it's not that it's not possible, it's very possible. And I want anyone listening who's a woman who's like, wow, well, I have had really awful experiences, genuinely awful, traumatic, like terrible fracturing experiences with men. Totally hear that. And reconciliation and complete healing all the way down to the root is 100% possible. I've seen it happen over and over again. I have. But Katie and I, to the point that you brought through, is we do both come in, and I feel, for years I felt this way, especially um, just how easeful it is for me to create with men. And you know this, like because we worked at that startup together. Um, small-ish team, obviously, but of all of the salespeople that cycled through, I was the one who ended up working directly with the CEO. Why do we think that is? What happened at the next startup that I worked for? Same thing. Why do we think that is? Lowly salesperson, individual contributor, not a manager, not a director. you know, why am I the one that ends up working with the C-level executives? It's like who are men, right? All of them, all of my managers in the world of sales, in that past world. Um, yeah, they're all these like fantastic men. And I really can say that genuinely. Now, part of that was because I vetted them, like I'm not going to work with, beside, or structurally under a man that I don't respect, who doesn't share my values. That's my responsibility to vet as a woman. And I see that, in all sorts of contexts being very, very important for women to know what they need and what they will and won't tolerate versus it being like on you or on you guys to like create perfect conditions for us to be okay. It's like, no, you guys are just going to be however you're going to be. Like just be who you are. And I will evaluate whether who and how you are is suitable for me. I'm the one doing the evaluating here. Like maybe you guys think you're evaluating me to bring me onto your team, but like I'm the one actually evaluating because I know that I amplify that energy. I when I put my, in the olden days of like full-time jobs and stuff, like when I put my mental force behind a man, but in these days it's like when I put the force of my womb behind a man, like there's amplification that happens. So I actually am the one that's responsible for selecting who gets that from me, who is in a way worthy, but I have a tricky relationship with that word just because most women hear it through the lens of like perfection, versus just like value alignment is more so how I mean worthy. So yeah, I mean, I really receive everything you shared, and I hope that inside of what I've just shared now, women can hear some doorways where it doesn't have to be that the man is perfect. It doesn't mean that he makes no mistakes. It doesn't mean that, you haven't had as a woman like your own like truly awful experiences with men, but that you actually hold all of this power. Women, there's so much power. Oh my God. And I just feel like all of this blood pulse in my womb. It's so great. And I'm like luteal now, so there's like even more blood obviously in my literal womb. But uh, ladies, we're so powerful. Like, come on, like let's go. Anyway, that's where the energy comes alive for me. I'm like, yes. Yeah. How does that land for you then as a gentleman across the table, so to speak?
It lands beautifully. There's several things that you said that I want to touch in on. One is
Sure.
I have seen I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but in my own lived experience, the number I'm this is really sad to say, but the number of women that I meet who have not been victims of some kind of sexual assault or some kind of real deep violence from men is it's rare. When you're talking about you,
Exactly. Yeah.
and so it's challenging because there's quite a lot of women that I've met over the last years who've come to me for support with working through really deep traumas that they've had as
Mm-hmm.
clients or
Mm-hmm.
as friends. And part of that process is actually for a lot of them, a part of that process is actually acknowledging the moments that they were a victim of something. There's this thing of like,
Yeah.
don't victimize yourself. It's like, well, sure, except for when we've
Sure.
actually been a victim.
Exactly.
Like,
Like something bad actually genuinely happened
yeah,
and it sucked on like a hardcore level.
yeah, right,
That was not okay. That was truly not okay.
right.
That doesn't mean that we identify ourselves as a victim forevermore, but like that shit happened.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's really important. Um, that's one thing that's happening for me. And yeah, I had a call with Katie this week. You introduced us, and being around you two, it's a healing experience for me. Just being around you. I mean, I don't think I mean, I love listening to you two talk. I think just being around you two is a gift, but it's like it's one of those things you don't even have to say anything. It's a cellular nervous system level healing that goes on of just this is what
Yeah.
it's like to be around women with big nervous systems and a lot of capacity and a deep pelvic presence, like deep pelvic bowl presence. And
We'll
there's
call it big womb energy.
big womb energy, BWE. Yeah.
BWE.
Yeah.
It's a thing. We're making it a thing.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I love, Katie and I got off the phone and she's like, my biggest takeaway being with you is like big men need big women. And I felt like relief when she said that. It was like finally, like
Yeah.
somebody acknowledging that. It's like, thank you.
Hmm. So good.
Um, and she and I really got into some distinctions about the differences between intensity and violence, for example. Like
Mm-hmm. She
truth,
mentioned that.
yeah,
Yeah. She mentioned that to me. That's great. Love it.
truth can be really intense,
It can.
especially at
High
the beginning.
sensation.
Yeah.
High sensation.
Especially at the
Right.
beginning, like when you're first receiving it, it's like the nerve, it's just like, whoa, right?
Yeah.
um, Later in the journey, it's arguably more intense the absence of it. You're like, wait, where did it go?
Yeah. Totally. 100,000,000%.
I don't like this
Yeah.
sensation. I want the other one back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's the lightning rod of truth.
And
Uh,
again, that's where sobriety comes in. It's like, okay, it doesn't have to be intense all the time, Forrest.
exactly. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Very true. For sure. Don't need to be a junkie. Um,
Hmm.
Truth junkie. Yeah. Well, let me
But
pause.
intensity and violence, no, no, no.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
intensity and violence is actually a really good distinction here because so I want to like double back a second and then we'll kind of talk about this. So you said, and thank you for this, that, you feel, or your system feels very like safe and there's just like a relaxation when you're talking with me or with her or with both of us that usually is not so present out in the world with women. And you are not the first man to tell me this. So I want to distinguish a couple of things. Maybe you can help me actually. This will be like generative for whoever's listening. I want to distinguish a couple of things that I have seen create that experience from a really genuine and organic place. It's not that I'm like trying to make this a safe space for Forrest to feel like a man. God, vomit, stop. No. Ugh. Again, like the body will just like revolt against that one, one or the other. The man's or the woman's body. Like somebody's body is going to revolt against that because it's just not natural. But what I want to distinguish is like, first of all, I don't need you to hold me in order to be okay. I see you. He's like already, he's like, oh my God. See, like any ladies listening, I hope you're watching the video because he just made this massive gesture of like burdenless release.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you're on audio only, make sure you pull up the video. There's like a lot coming through the body language here. Um, yeah, like I don't need you to hold a frame specifically to like make sure that everything is perfect and all the conditions are there so that I can flourish in my feminine radiance.
This is like, oh my God, Ginger, this is the fucking David Data posturing of masculinity bullshit. Like just bullshit, bullshit, bullshit,
Totally,
bullshit, bullshit.
totally.
Sorry, I just couldn't help myself.
I know.
Men are gonna
Now
hold
we're
the
in the meat.
frame so women can feel
Yeah.
safe. It's just like
Nope. Right. Like so reductive and also so infantilizing of women.
fantilizing. Like your women are children who cannot take care of themselves, and it's my job to coddle you with a little pacifier. Is that not the message?
Please
I'm
don't.
just like, give me a
Uh,
break.
like sometimes, yes. And I take no issue with David Data himself. I actually think, like generally speaking, the little I've dabbled in his teachings, like first, second, third stage relating type thing, like that lands for me. A lot of that does land. So no shade. Like he's a brilliant teacher in his own right.
Same. I'm not
But
trying to
yes, I
talk
think
shit about him. I'm just saying
no, no,
what I
no. Understood.
experienced in a lot of people who come out of reading Way of Superior Man type of
That's it.
thing is these kinds of
That's it.
orientations.
Right. And so we can see the dilution of the teaching, second degree, third degree, 100th degree. There's just dilution, right? Because the further away that you go from the original channel, there is dilution. And we're not talking about like the good kind of homeopathic dilution, where it's like you only need 1/1000th of a part to like affect the vessel. It's like, okay, we got to go back to like source experience, which is embodied ultimately, like a channel itself it's got to be super clear for the thing to land in it, let alone to be able to translate it out to into a book or into teachings. But then when people kind of glom on and place their mental layers on top of the teachings, that's where it gets wonky. So to your point, yeah, I don't need you or any men to coddle me. Now, does that mean that, I am never in need of like loving, tender presence, holding, cuddles, affection? Of course not. Oh my God. Like, yeah, these things are not mutually exclusive at all. But the energetic in the background is like, I'm not dependent on you to make my environment perfect in order for me to open because I'm actually responsible for my own opening. It's my opening, it's in my body. And part of that is going to be very, biologically subconscious or um, like instinctual, like obviously there's an element of just on the sexual front there's an element of sexual opening that is instinctive. It's not something that someone can fully create the perfect conditions for. It just like happens, and how beautiful that is. But then in life, in relationship, in friendship, or in just general male female coworker relating, it's like, oh my God, if the men are walking on eggshells because the women have in their operating system that they can only be safe if the man creates perfect conditions for them, it's this really awful Chinese finger trap, really, where ugh, there's just a constriction that I feel immediately in my body. This is that level of sensitivity where I'm just like, no, no, get it away, destroy it, cast it into the fires.
Well,
You
and
know,
even I'm going to take it so far, I'm going to weaponize it or
yeah,
demand it, right? Like I'm going to demand that you make me feel seen. I'm
completely,
going to demand you hold me. I'm going to demand that you understand me. I'm going to demand like it's like whoa, whoa.
completely. So back to distinguishing the things that the presence of which would actually have a man feel like, wow, I'm so relaxed around this woman. Like she doesn't need me to like coddle her. It's like there's sovereignty that's acknowledged both internally, and I acknowledge that you are not responsible for my needs. You're a sovereign being. You have your own stuff going on. That's beautiful. I don't need you to see me 100% of the time, all of the time. In fact, I recognize that you will fail at seeing me. You will. Point blank, when I go into relating with men on any level, there's going to be an element of, wow, they can't see me. I just acknowledge it from the get go. And it's okay. It's not anybody's fault. It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that you're less than or that I am somehow not safe because you can't fully see me. It's like, just, we all fail. It's okay. Have a little humanity. I don't need you to be perfect. I really don't. Like, you know? So, yeah. Oh, and I think the other thing, this is maybe a smaller piece with you and I, but perhaps it's also there, that has you feel relaxed and safe around me is I also don't need your validation. Like, I don't need your validation. And I think a lot of women need the validation still. Yeah.
Well, there's this exchange. I have gone through a process of in my relationship inside myself. It's like the this agreement had happened. The culture I grew up in, I was raised in the Southeast United States, right? There's a very large
Yep.
cultural context of the woman takes her safety and hands it over to the man and says, "You're going to hold this,
Hmm.
take
I
care."
can kind of feel a little bit of the sweetness in that, though. And then there's an element that's biologically so rightful that I also ascribe or subscribe to, like it just, yeah, there is an element of truth there,
Yeah.
especially in a marriage, for instance, you know.
Right. It's like it's not wrong and it's not
Mm-mm.
functional in so many contexts that we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about outsourcing, essentially. It's like
Right.
if I outsource all of my safety to you,
Right.
oh man,
Right.
and then I expect you also to be perfect, that is a recipe for, oof, not success. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, the man was the leader. That was really big in my cultural upbringing. Um,
Mhm.
and I think again, it's one of the things that I appreciate being around you is I feel like when I'm around you, there's this thing that's happening, which is like, at least this is what goes on in me, which is like, okay, ladies, even while we were in that storyline, we were still playing a leadership role in creating that kind of dynamic. Like,
Say more. I think I lost you in
I'm,
the
I'm checking with you in
context.
real time because I don't want to just paint
Yeah.
things on you.
No,
It's
no,
like,
please. You're good.
yeah, it's like an awareness of um we're all leading all the time, even if we're
Hmm.
leading by creating a story that I'm not the leader and this other person's the leader and I have no leadership capacity. That's the form of leadership I'm expressing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Really, really well said. Really well said. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious how much of you, if you know, of the people who listen to your podcast, are most of them men or women, or do you
It's
have an idea
almost
of
right
that?
down the middle. It's almost
Oh,
50-50.
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that there's something for everyone then in this conversation. Yeah. Yeah, and to take it towards that full send place that, you had mentioned kind of prior to recording, I feel very passionate, and I will always feel this way. Um, Speaking of, big men need big women. I will be very passionate forevermore about helping women actually inhabit the size of their systems,
Mm,
both such that they can not only be a match for, catalyst for, like a true counterpart to big men with big systems, but also, and this is like very cutting edge, like really just coming through in the last day or so, it's like I'm not at the point of being a mother, but such that women with systems can actually mother young boys who have massive systems and not emasculate young boys and actually safeguard their souls as they are young and as they are like flowering. I know that's like a very feminine word to use, but I think all children have this innocence that just like flowers when the conditions are like, wow, I really can meet all of this bundle of energy. So often, like young boys, teenagers as well, obviously, like you guys are told, wow, there's way too much. You got to stop doing that. Sit still, pipe down, go sit in the corner. You're a bad boy. Da, 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 da. And I know like lots of people have kinks about that, when they're adults. Like, okay. But the
mm.
point is like we've got to safeguard something that's like very innocent from the time that they're very young, like these like bundles of energy and these souls that are newly incarnated into these tiny little bodies with so much energy, big systems, and like big fields, but their moms can't handle it.
Yeah.
It's like that's not fair. So that's like probably a downstream. I can kind of feel that coming down the pipeline in terms of a future body of work when I can do that in an embodied way. But to bring it back to what I can do right now in an embodied way, it's like, all right, ladies. So for those of you who desire to really, have that embodied, powerful counterpart type of relationship with a man who is a match for your breadth and your range, your feminine range is a word that a lot of people will use in my field. Like embody your feminine range. It's like, yes, but ultimately women are afraid to do that because they're afraid to become too big for like the average man, and they feel scarcity come in and hijack their own process of actually opening to the life force that is there in their bodies, because it's like, oh no, if I do that, I already feel too much. There's no way that any man will ever be able to meet me, and I will be alone and destitute forevermore. It's like, it's very primal very quickly. But I happen to know that there are tons of men with very large systems in the world that are hungry and, desperate in a good way, not like a weird needy way, but like really, hungry for women who have big systems. So I happen to be the one who sees all of those men because they feel safe around me. Those men make themselves invisible to women who are not safe. They just won't open up, right? Nodding. You keep yourself at a distance. Am I wrong? It's like, oh, you just identify she can't meet me, so I will
Yeah,
just kind
it's
of
like you don't even, it's for, well, I guess where I'm at is like I just don't even go there. Like I'm just like this is not,
exactly.
it's not even worth going for tea, like kind of thing. Like it's like we're not
Yes,
even going to take step one. Like it's a non-starter
exactly.
with all the love in the
Exactly.
world, but it's just a non-starter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And so for the women who are sort of on the cusp of, they've already, usually my clients have already moved through like the hatred of men part there. I don't work with women who still hate men. They have to pass through that initiation on their own. They can absolutely still have some wonky spots around men. That's not a problem. But there's no outright hatred of men in my spaces. It doesn't work. I don't deal with that part of the journey. It's not my torch to carry. So they come to me and they're like, okay, I love men, or I actually really have a deep respect. I have found a deep respect and an admiration for men. And I desire to create with them. And then there's usually all sorts of like still bits of armor and wonky pieces in the way for them to just in a very natural embodied way show up in the world in a way where they could see a man with a large system, like recognize him, and also still feel very safe with themselves. And it's that, I think it's exactly what you're saying, is that embodied sense of like, oh, I'm actually just, I'm here with myself. I don't need you to coddle me, caretake me, create perfect conditions for me. That then has these men with massive systems reveal themselves, because all of a sudden they feel like, oh, I can come out of the woodwork. I am actually safe to be in the presence of this woman. Now we can play. No longer is it a non-starter. It's like, oh, there's actually space for me here. She can actually receive my bigness. I'm getting like goosebumps on my thighs. Yay. She can receive my bigness and we can create together. Maybe, right? And then the exploration begins, and then like the real sort of like, like let's see, let's dance, let's like explore how and in what ways can we create together. But women have to get to that point of like internalized safety with themselves first, you know? And that's a big, big part of my work with women, actually. Like rootedness, groundedness, emotional sobriety, self holding, like genuine ability to be with the sensations over here with ourselves without weaponizing them against you guys, without making it fully that it's your fault, which sometimes it kind of like, you know, there are instances, but the point is for overall for the system to be, yeah, for a woman's system to be able to just be in the presence of a man who has a big system.
Oh, there's so many brilliant like threads we can pull on here. One thing I want to name for the guys listening, one of the things that I've really learned, I'm not sure if that's the word, become aware of, is I spent years dating women I didn't feel like I like it was like I was dating women and trying to point out the things that we're talking about right now to
Mm.
them. And so I just want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like
Teaching.
name, yeah, exactly. I just want to name, if you're listening to this as a man, like one of the things I would have done, let's say 5 years ago, is I would have listened to this conversation with me and Ginger, and then I would have like been like, all right, maybe I could just play this for the girl I'm dating and point out all the things so she can see them, and then she'll want to show up differently. And I'm just want to name like that didn't work ever, ever.
No.
Like it didn't.
Nope.
It might have made like micro improvements, but it missed the boat, which is like it missed the boat, which is just way bigger than trying to do that. And it was that was me feeding a dynamic that wasn't the thing. Like that was again, it was like ultimately at the end of the day, what I need to do is disengage and go, I actually started something I shouldn't have even started. I needed to come back to the non-starter piece,
Yeah.
complete dissolution and release and letting go and going, I didn't do a good enough job in my, again, I want to be really careful with the language I'm using. I hope you can hear me well, but I want to do a better job in my vetting process, my
Yes.
discernment process.
Yes.
Um, because when I'm around you and Katie, I feel like I can talk to y'all about anything. My deepest insecurities come out around y'all. I'm just like, here's the things I struggle with. Here's the
Mm.
places I don't feel good enough. It's like I feel, and here's my big visions for what I'm working on, and it doesn't even feel that big.
Yeah. And yeah, and you know that both of us would be like, okay, well, that's it. Like, what about
That's
this? What about
it.
that? You know, like
And it
it could
was
be way
so
bigger.
funny because when I talk about me 5 years ago, you would have heard me 5 years ago say, all I want to do is tell the woman I'm with the big vision I have and go, is that all you got for us? Like, come on, honey. Like, and you just feel
Hmm.
like it's evoking more, like just so instead
Yes.
of because I have that wound that you pointed to. Like when I was a kid, my mom would always say, like, Forrest, you're too much. You're stressing me out. That was a big thing. Like, you're stressing me out. You're stressing me out.
I'm
This
sorry. That sucks.
and it's like,
Yeah.
I get older and I realize, okay, my vitality and aliveness was triggering my mom's repressed and dormant vitality and aliveness. Like I can get that, but it doesn't, even that seeing doesn't solve, like it's a way deeper pain to feel and go,
Yeah.
can I actually give myself permission now to be fully received, to not
Yeah.
to not self-dampen, to not withhold because we become these guys who throw in the towel, right? Like we become impotent in a way I've experienced
That's
this.
it. That's
I've
the word.
experienced it. It's like I'm just like
Yep.
if this is it, I'd rather not. I'll just be single. I'll sit in my
Yep.
house. And it's a coping mechanism.
Yes.
It's a coping mechanism
It's
to
not true. It's
yeah.
not true. The truth of your system is what's true.
It's not
The
raw,
cope to be,
primal,
no,
like
right.
it's cope.
Yeah.
But I have
It's cope.
compassion for it because
Hardcore.
I've been there. I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
I still am sometimes. I'll be like, ah, fuck.
Ah,
Fuck it.
totally fair. Totally fair.
But I know it's
And that's part of it. Yeah. Aha. So good. Yeah, and I hope that, the gentleman listening can hear and feel both, your wrestling, your tussling with the reality of your past of like the fracture with women or the fracture with the feminine. It's a very different experience for you guys. It's more like it's not always. I know that there are exceptions, but it's less of like the physical violation, more so like the emotional or spiritual violation. By and large, obviously there are exceptions, and those are equally as awful as what happens to women often. But you know, with all of that said, it's like regardless of where the fractures come in, the point is not to just crumble away from them and go into entropy. Although that's very tempting, and I understand people choose that route. And you know what? I'm a believer in multiple lifetimes, so I really believe that people get multiple opportunities. Um, but I also feel that, for those of the listeners who are able to hear you and able to hear me, it's like, look, we have our days. We all have our days of fuck this. Like, this is so not it, or cope. And I'm just going to go in my shell or whatever it is. That's fine. That's also part of being a human. And then we get down on ourselves for like having to do that sometimes. I don't think that's necessary either. Just let yourself be in the down. If you're having a down, like have a proper down. Let it be like full of nourishing soil and like just, you know, to bring in Traver's episode with you, like the nourishing dark. Like go into the cave. Like it's okay. Like the dark will probably swallow you. Yep, it happens. Like you can come out of the cave. There's another side. Like yeah, reconciling with the that aspect of the feminine is going into the dark. It is touching those spots that feel hopeless or like a pit of despair or like when you're down there you can't climb out. I understand that. Like I have those spots and locations in myself as well. But it's like we don't gain any level of like self-love or mastery or anything when we avoid it and hide in our turtle shells or take a substitute like the red pill approach to life, for example, you know, or MGTOW, men go their own way.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's when you're talking Ginger, it puts me in contact with the sometimes I can feel really deeply heartbroken looking at the world and I do this in my own ways, so I know there's projection happening here, but also perception. What I see is like I mean, the number of guys that I know that are like trying to be this thing to get love. It's like I'm gonna get amass this certain amount of money and this certain thing. It's like there's nothing wrong with any of this stuff. Like it's great to like
No,
want to provide a house and be able to pay for things and have a nice like that's beautiful.
totally.
And I know from my own experience, it's like I wanna play the role. I want to do those things. I also want to be loved for who I really am. I don't want to be
Yes,
I don't want to be loved for
of
this
course.
thingamajig that I do, this like posturing. And on the other side, women too, like women talk to me all the time about what they really want in relationship with people. And it's like so many of us are trying to be this thing to get love or to be good enough for
Yeah,
connection.
yeah.
And I feel like your body of work is like it's like it necessarily requires us. I mean, is this true? Like I'm asking, it necessarily requires us to even just drop the connection for a moment and be like, for a moment, this needs to be between you and
Yep,
you and God,
yep.
you and your own soul.
Yes.
And it's like not for the purpose of anything besides your own union with that, like all caps of that. And then
Hmm.
from there, let's see what happens.
Exactly. From I don't know, like your Jersey Italian like fuckboy came out. Let's see what happens. I don't know. It's so funny. Yeah, no, that's it though, right? Because it's like if I can't just like have my own relationship to myself, if I like there's a healthy level of selfishness here that we need. I'm really not a non-dual person in the sense like I have an awareness of the non-dual. I can, have a felt experience of it. And I also acknowledge I'm in this very dual plane of reality. Like there's a reality that I cut my thumb yesterday cooking a stew. Like there's a there's objective reality where it's like I bleed if I'm cut. I am not one with the knife. Like, guys, so we can be this like in non-dual awareness and have all of the consciousness in the world, or maybe the lack thereof, and be striving for love through sorry lack thereof and striving for love through works, through objects, status, money, hierarchy, da da da. Doesn't matter which way you slice it or dice it, you still need a relationship with yourself. You still need a relationship with creator or higher power or something that is backing you, that is beyond you, because otherwise you're just going to be a bit fucked, to be honest. I don't know. For me, atheists are non-starters usually, but better than like agnostics in the sense that they actually believe something. They just believe in the not that. But still, it's a non-starter for me because it's like, okay, what? Really? You have no acknowledgement of the mystery? There's nothing? Like, there's really nothing? You sure about that? Like, have you felt anything lately? Have you watched any animal in nature lately? Like, do you orgasm? Like, does that happen for your body? Anyway, I get a bit saucy at some point in every podcast. This is where the sauce comes out. So, man. Yeah. I feel very passionate though about the the reweaving of men and women that will always be part of what I stand for, in addition to vitality. I just happen to believe that vitality with self, to your point, there's that healthy selfishness that has to come first. It has to. Otherwise, we will outsource and we will be dependent on, you to make me feel safe, or him to not, say that word or that phrase, or like, for her to not look at him in that certain way or with that certain tone. It's like, why are we walking on eggshells with each other all the time? It's not necessary. So, yeah, I hope that people can hear that. And I hope that my cut heals soon because it was definitely a deep one. I was sharpening the knife when I was making the stew. It just like slipped and like,
Oof.
but no stitches needed. So,
Good.
wrapped it up nice and tight and kept my hand in the air for a while there. Yeah.
Well, and it gets you what you're sharing, Ginger. It like connects me with this movie scene where like, the marriage is falling apart in their 50s and the guy's like, "What the heck? I did everything I've done for you." And I'm imagining the woman being like, "Well, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you do any of it for you?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and that can happen way earlier. Like I have a friend who runs a very like large business in this, marriage saving world, so to speak. Couples who are on the brink of divorce, which is not usually it's just not the torch that I hold, but it's the one that he and his wife hold very, very beautifully. Sovereign Man, you can look him up if you want to. He's great. He's in Austin. And it's like this is happening younger and younger. It's not men in their 50s. It's like men in their early 30s sometimes, you know, and or vice versa, the women are also saying like, why have I sacrificed so much? It's like, well, who was the one doing the sacrificing? From what posture were we sacrificing? I don't believe in compromise. That is a very radical statement. I have to drop in Ayn Rand and Objectivism and Atlas Shrugged as a book recommendation. It's very long, and the first part can be a bit tedious, but I promise, especially for you, Forrest, you can definitely receive it. And there's some fun energetics
read,
woven
I've
throughout. But
read. Come on, I've read
oh,
all
you've read it.
the
Oh,
Kern
great,
and
fantastic.
Atlas
I don't
Shrugged.
know. I don't
Come
know.
on,
Oh, great,
when I
yeah.
was
So
20. Yeah.
yeah, the money
Funny
speech
stuff.
alone will change your life. Like I'm so serious. But yeah, there's that level of like valuing what we value. That is where we derive self-esteem. And if we live what we value, we experience higher degrees of self-esteem. We just do. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not egoic. or it's egoic in a good way. And then what we get to do from that place is we actually get to create what we value and exact our will on the world, not from a heady place, but from this indwelling spirit that she does talk about, actually. I think people kind of hate on her because it's like, there's no emotion. She's this like heartless, you know, refugee from Soviet Russia. Like she doesn't feel. It's like, well,
Common critique.
I don't feel. I find her very feelable. I find her works very feelable personally. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like is what you're saying that there's an absence of drama, right? Like, I
possibly.
don't
And
feel
now that's not to
anything.
comment. Sorry, say again.
When people are like, I don't feel anything, it's like you mean there's not a big drama thing going on here? Like
Yeah,
it's a little bit more sober, perhaps, right? Like
yeah, dialed. Yeah, really dialed of like cause and effect. This makes that happen. This leads to that. Yeah. Hmm.
well, and we're you know, we're it's like I can't not name that we grow up in an environment where there are rom-coms, for example, and it's like this big chemical addiction cycle thing of
Hmm.
rupture and repair. And of course, it's all about what happens before, it's all about the coming together process. And then it ends right at the moment that they come together. Like it's not actually about the relationship, it's about the turmoil, quite frankly, beforehand. And so it's like we don't have a lot of movies you can sit down and watch about healthy relationships. It's just not part of the culture. So we're used to these. We unconsciously normalize addictive, really intense neurochemical secretion patterns as romance. Like that's the thing that we're subconsciously wanting to manifest because it's what we've been conditioned with.
Yeah. And also, for a time, it feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Both you and I, am sure, have been there. It's like, wow, that felt really good until it doesn't, of course.
It does.
There's always a drop.
Yeah,
But
it's like you can get drunk and then you have a hangover.
exactly, precisely. Yeah. It's another substance, just brain drugs.
Yeah, just brain drugs. Exactly. Yeah, so that's the when you say sobriety, like that's the level of sobriety that we're talking about here. We're even talking about beyond chemical. We're talking about
Yes.
neurochemical and like how
Yes.
are our pattern
Always.
behaviors secreting ourselves in addiction patterns.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big component for, yeah, most of the women that I work with on some level. And of course, how could it not be? Because as you said, we grow up in a culture that venerates those types of experiences and labels those peak highs as true love, when it's like, I don't know, like it might be, but it also might not be. It might just be a chemical high. So,
Right.
what happens after that peak, and how is it integrated? And I think to your point, we have very, very, very few role models who can speak at an embodied level to the dissolution of that illusion. And to be quite frank, I sort of shared with you before we hit record, I don't often share like personal anecdotes of my own relationship because there's just like a level of, private sphere, public sphere. But I will say that there was a very recent level of dissolution of an illusion or something that I like a past version of my relationship that I finally came to terms with the fact that I was clinging on to something that didn't exist anymore. And there was like a graspy and a grabbiness that was coming through so strongly in my system. And it was very repellent to him, rightly so, because grasping and grabbing should be repellent. But it was subtle. And I know a lot of women are very overt with it, but for me, it was very subtle and yet pervasive. Like, of course, it was felt. And finally, like, I'm so grateful that this particular, unwinding finally happened through my body. Like, I really hit this point of the graspy and grabby thing that was protecting fell away, and I actually got to be in contact with the grief behind it, that I was grieving this prior version of a relationship, which was so magical, so blissful. I mean, like 2+ years of honeymoon phase and fairly grounded too, not just chemical highs. I mean, like bliss. It was the time in our life too, the level of responsibilities he did or didn't have, and vice versa. Tons of travel, lots of novelty, da 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 da. And it's like that phase of our relationship is over. And part of me, like for the last year prior to this dissolution, had been clinging on to the past and hoping and hoping and hoping that it would like go back to the way that it was, versus actually like drop the grab bit that like wants that past version that like made me feel so good, and like actually contact the grief of, wow, that was it's a deep loss actually, you know, such a sweet version of both of ourselves that has had to evolve, you know, like that version of me doesn't exist anymore, and that version of him doesn't fully exist anymore. Like, of course we all kind of retain parts and elements, but then I don't know, then I actually got to have a proper grieving process and lo and behold, when I was actually with the grief, um, things opened up again, and just, yeah, felt so much more free and so much clearer, and the energy between us just, you know, totally like opened up, because I was relating to reality once again, finally was like relating with him as he is now in reality, versus relating to a past version and wishing that he would go backwards in time, which is not possible. It's fantasy. So, yeah, embodied relating versus honeymoon is the best. You should say like this all the time. It's like, no, you're going to die, you're going to evolve, your person's going to die and evolve. You know, much older and wiser people than I have said this. It's like you've got to be able to attend the death of 1,000 funerals to be with the person that you truly love. That's true love. True love is not the chemical high that has you go to Greece and get engaged within 3 months. Like, that may well also be true. So, no shade on going to
Yeah.
Greece.
Sounds
You
great.
know,
Sounds awesome.
it's great.
Yeah.
Please, like, have your kicks. But
Yeah.
like, you know, like there's more. Like, you're gonna have to die at some point. So just FYI.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
I mean, honestly, Ginger, what's happening for me in this moment is I'm just like really, really, really single right now, and I'm hoping that one of the amazing women in your communities is like a good.
Love it. The matchmaking gods have
let's,
been called upon.
let's be honest here. Let's get real.
I love it. I mean, they're going to listen to this. So let's do a little like playful exploration of Forrest's
Oh, let's
desires,
do it.
if you
Let's do it.
if you're open to it.
Yeah, this is gonna be uncomfortable and fun.
Ah,
Let's do it.
perfect. But it'll be fun. It's like the fun comfortable. That's a really cringe word, but I just made it up.
Fun. I love it.
Uncomfortable. So cringe. So weird. Okay, so yeah, what do you want? What are you looking for? Like, and to be very sober about it, it's like, what do you even feel like you're ready to receive? And then we can get into like specifics too. Don't skip any part of the process, because if you feel like you're in a particular phase that society deems unacceptable, then like I would say just be with the reality of that phase and don't skip to like, I want a wife and kids and it's gonna be perfect. You know, like just be with reality. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me. I won't say the things that Katie said on the call that I have with her this week, but it makes me laugh thinking of some of the things that she said. Um,
I bet.
I could speak about physical things like
Sure.
I mean you know this because you obviously we've spent tons of time together in person, but for anybody who's listening, I'm 6'4". I weigh 240 pounds. I'm a large man, and I like.
It's just so funny to hear you say that. It's so funny. I mean, you definitely take up space. You're not you don't really fit well in like an economy seat, I would say. I would
No,
figure.
no, no,
Yeah.
no.
No.
The cheeky side of me is like, I fly first class.
Yeah, I heard that. I
Yeah.
heard that. I heard that. I didn't want to say it. I was gonna let you say that.
Yeah.
That's the listening quality. I'm like, I know what he's thinking. Let's go. Okay, what else?
Yeah, so I like bigger women. I like women with big hips. I
I
tend,
love that.
yeah,
Let's just take a moment because there's a lot of ladies out there. I've been on my own fitness journey, but like, let's just take a moment. There's a lot in the culture that says like, that's too much. Big hips are too much.
yeah, I
And
know.
you're saying like, no, I actually want that. I like that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I realize I might be scaring everybody off here, but like when I was born, I was 11 pounds and 24 inches. So like I'm like, if I have
Wow.
a
Oh, you're
kid,
sweet, mom.
where are we gonna put that kid? Right? Like I'm aware of I'm like
Oh my God. It's the best podcast ever. Everybody needs to be listening to this. This is great. So
I'm
you definitely want kids, and therefore you
sorry.
have like primal biological, very normal male drive to select a mate that has some childbearing hips. I get it. That's great. We love
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to put language to this, Ginger, but there's a feeling like when you ask me what I want, I immediately get into this feeling, and it's like in the moment right now, I just feel so peaceful, like everything just feels okay, and it's like I I just want to like I know that life has its ebbs and flows. I know all of that. I'm not trying to like just be like it can only be this all the time. But I just want to have this baseline ground of like everything's okay. It's free flowing, vibrant information, like just the total sense of like it's all taking care of itself and we get to delight in that together. Um,
Very cool.
I feel like she's my best friend in the whole world. Like we just like cut up laughing. Like I love to laugh and like ridiculous laugh. Like I mean like just lose it. I love to laugh like
Hmm.
out of
So
control.
good.
Um and I want to feel like or let me say it like this, like it feels like I can relax into her. Like I'm obviously able to hold her. I know that, but
Hmm.
I'm also able to
Of
relax
course.
for her holding and be like if I'm
Hmm.
feeling if I'm feeling off or flustered or dysregulated or something, like I can find myself again. I can find my come from again just being around her. Like she doesn't have to fucking coach
Hmm.
me or give me therapy or something, but it's like I just want to sit next to you and
Yeah.
soak you up so I can find home base again. Like just
Beautiful.
just be here with me for 10 minutes so I can just receive your Wi-Fi router of transmission of the wellspring and like
So good.
and I'll just soak it up and be back online again. Right. um
Totally. So pause for just a second. So I want the ladies listening, this is like a little bit of coachiness. Sorry about that. But it's like that request is like one of the top ones that I hear from men with big systems and also just men in general, like that sense of desire for peace, but not, and being able to refine themselves, to remember their essence just by being in her presence. She doesn't have to coach, therapize, consult for him, or really do much at all. Just literally the being
yeah, and
in
like
the same
please don't
space.
please don't do that actually. Like
Exactly. 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 So it's important for women to know that because very, very often there's kind of like a couple types of fractals of women in various parts of the journey, but a particular type that tends to be in my spaces is like, okay, what can I do to attract this man? What can I do to like be a match for this man? Okay, like how can I actively amplify him? And there's like a lot of force behind it. And they're very self-aware often and da da da. They maybe have been in these worlds of healing professions and whatnot. But what I hear you saying is it's so much less about the doing. There's really not much involved at all. It's just the presence itself. The Wi-Fi, how did you say it? The Wi-Fi transmission of the wellspring. So good. Love that. Okay, please continue. Here
well,
for it.
it's like I know you know this, Ginger. I know you know this. And from my I have seen like there are women that I know, a lot of them in the healing space, like you're talking about, they're somatic practitioners or coaches or something. And they're
Of course they
constantly
are.
they're constantly in this thing like, what do I need to do and how do I manifest and blah blah. And I'm like, you always seem to miss it. But when you drop into your pelvis and you're in that like oracular consciousness, it's like, I want to pick up the phone and call people and sell your program for you. Like,
Thank you for your service.
you can just like sit there and it's like the pupils change, like the whole room changes. It's often it's like
Mm,
everything shifts and it's like I wish more women could trust in that, just settling into the pelvis and being like, I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna watch it all take care of itself because that's the greatest gift you can possibly offer, bar none. Like it's just like it's the most beautiful thing in the world, honestly. Um,
yep.
Makes me cry a little bit over here saying it.
Yeah. Not that non-doing. Everything that you're saying is essentially an embodied advertisement for a deeper program that I do with women, which is literally about precisely what you just described. And it's like, yeah, that's the most beautiful and valuable thing in the world.
Well, if you want to plug it, feel free now or later. But I just want to, I endorse your work and I want people to know about it. If you want them to know about it, I don't know how many membranes of.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, there are definitely some membranes to pass through, but I trust people will find me when they are ready and when they need to. And yeah, we could kind of do the rundown later. It doesn't need to be now. Yeah. So what else?
I know this is so silly, but I think it points to something deeper, which is like I'm really big into health and fitness and things, and like I want to be able to run and play sports together and other things, but I also want to be able to like eat a pint of ice cream together. Like, uh,
Got it. So no lactose intolerant women.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Just kidding. I'm sure there are lovely flavors of coconut milk based ice cream.
Yeah, I just don't want to be in the rigidities of well-being is what I'm saying. Like those can be helpful at
Yeah,
some
that's
times,
it.
but really I just want to like, yeah, I want to have like a free-flowing, vibrant existence. And obviously, like let's be real, lots of like dancing and lovemaking
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
um like cooking, sensual things. I'm I'm a body worker. I'm a big touch person, so like physical touch, that's a whole love language for me.
Totally.
Um, and I feel like if I dare to ask for what I really want, it's like I want to have a I pause to use the word purpose partner because purpose can get so intellectual and heady. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
wrong. It's not wrong, but I want to point to something deeper than that, which is like what I'm really interested in is we're letting go of all the ways that we posture and position ourselves and try to be something, and then you just can't help be what you are at the end of the day. And so it's like what we are when we stop trying to pretend to be things just gets along like a symphony. It's just like this is like a
Yeah.
we can't not be madly in love. We can't not be having fun. We can't not be just enjoying one moment after the next, whether it's I love to play the guitar and I want to learn how to play the piano better. So whether it's like singing or cooking or raising children or building a business or whatever, it's like just being able to really enjoy a rich and vibrant life together. That's what I want.
Yeah. Beautiful. Very pure desires. I think a lot of people feel the same and or maybe a little less courageous in asking for what they want, asking for what they desire.
It's
Or
so
like
funny.
sharing.
I feel like a good old Christian boy these days. I'm like, I don't drink alcohol and I just want like
Yeah. Well, yes, and like, you know, I think I think you have a bit more depth and range, let's just say.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know. So yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things, it's so interesting that this example comes up for me, but it's like Gosh, I get shaky when I go to talk about this. It's amazing.
You want to just slow it down for a sec? This is like a great example for people listening of like, oh, there's some sensation. We don't need to rush past it. We can just actually feel what's there. That's crazy. It's allowed. There's no tiger. It's just sensation. Shaky sensation, but it's sensation.
I'm really big into honesty and truth telling and being on it, like honest and forthcoming, and like whatever the opposite of withholding is, disclosing, I guess you could say. Uh,
Hmm.
so there's, again, I referenced like me 5 years ago. There were times 5 years ago where I would have this kind of like vision come into my mind. Like if I married this person and we had kids, like she would like come home from being out with our kids and I'd be like, hey, how was this? And like I'd not get a full answer and then feel like I need to ask 20 or 30 questions to be like, what the heck is going on? Right. And I just want like the opposite of that. Like I just want, it's just like there's not any, it's just all above board. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's just open and it's like there's not like we can just I find myself being like I just want to be able to talk. Like I just want
Hmm.
like love ourselves enough and love each other enough to just be able to say what's true and what's
Yeah.
honest and real. Like yeah, because everything else is a performance. I mean, so the number of women I've had, specifically women, I haven't had a lot of guys tell me this, but the number of women I've had tell me that they got up on the altar to get married and they knew that it wasn't the right thing to do and then they did it anyway. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, of
Yeah.
course, everything's okay. It all ends up sorting itself out. No biggie.
Yes.
But I just don't want to live a life like that. I'm like, because
Then
the
you
other
won't.
thing, it just opens up realms. It opens up universes of like when you're in, I want to live life in the pulse. I want to live life in the
Yeah.
of pure creation. That's what I want all day, every day. Like, I'm not, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
not.
yeah, I don't know. What I'm sensing in the background is just like it's not fully coming through, but it's like there's this a little bit of fear, concern, like monitoring, like little bit of wobbly self-trust there on the vetting front.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. So, just something to notice.
It's very precise what you're saying. Like I have a history of dating potential, I guess you could say. So I sort of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been unwinding that. Like I can see people's potential and I can
Sweet.
also see who they are and it's like, okay.
Great. Great thing to do. Yeah. Hard thing to do, but great thing to do. Yeah.
So listening to me, Ginger, are you like, is there anything that's like blaring off the page where you're like, Forrest, either like I know this is true for you and you haven't said it, or it would be really interesting to have you kind of speak to this area a little bit more.
Regarding
Hmm.
the matchmaking component. Well, I mean, you haven't spoken to like the dark primal beast animal at all that we both know exists inside of both of us, right? And for listeners, it's probably a very strange thing to hear out of context, but it's like, wow, like how do they know about that, about each other? It's like they must have da da da. We have not. Um, but when you can sense things, it's like, look, there's that component that I think gets, you made this comment in passing about like I feel like a good Christian boy. And I'm like, I mean, that's not true, right? So I think the approval of that, Om Rapani writes about it as like the wolf, and I speak about it more so in terms of the beast in men, like the self approval of that and the willingness to bring that through. And yeah, obviously there's the self trust in the vetting piece. It's not like you're going to just spring that on someone whose system can't interface with that. But I think there is probably an element that wants to be spoken where it's like, yeah, this does exist in me. I'm not yet in full approval of it in the way of like speaking it out freely or letting that energy be the thing that like even leads, right? Because it's not acceptable, palatable. But that's the thing that we need. It's like, guys, like that. I don't know. It's like, at least for all the women in my spheres, they're very hungry for the wolf and they are building capacity to be able to receive that. So that's really like the only big thing that comes up in the background there.
Yeah, it's I mean, so there's a few things to say on that because one is like, yeah, of course we get very deeply conditioned around men are violent and these kinds of things. So I think it has me shy away from showing up like that until I can really know that it's safe or welcomed or wanted. Um,
Yeah, I can understand that. I
yeah,
have commentary.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, so let me finish my sentence and then you give me commentary. Like
Go for it.
basically like when I'm in my raw primal sexual thing, it's like I there's something that happens in me which is like I'm just not going to settle until I have completely dismantled all the ways that you're pretending in this moment and I have the most fucking
Yeah.
supple, fertile, pure, essential thing. And it's like, for me, it's like, ha ha ha, I fucking got it. Like, it's like this thing of like, I want the most, I want the most. It's so interesting. It's edgy because it gets so close to something that could sound really extractive, but it's the opposite of that. It's in service. It's like I want
Mm-hmm.
to,
I understand.
yeah. It's like you can take all your clothes off and still not be naked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like I want the naked, um, like whether that's like I want the mess, like whether it's crying, whether it's like shaking, or it's like whatever. It's like I want the full release. I want the full other side of all the thing, and I want that all the time. And that's like where
Okay,
the
well, the last part is not gonna serve you. I'm just gonna tell you that straight up. Wanting that all the time is not gonna
yeah,
serve you.
yeah, that's a miss. You're right. You're right. That's a miss. That's a miss. It's like well, I guess maybe I could say I want it all the time. It doesn't mean I expect it all the time. Um,
Yeah, nor are you entitled to it all the time.
for sure, 1,000%. Um, it's like and it's one of those things where it's another one of those grounds of when it's something that's active, you don't have to have it all the time to be able to have it all the time. And
Exactly. Well
that's what
said.
I'm pointing to.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Mm-hmm.
it's still there and it's still
That's
happening.
very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. I think those who have ears to hear will hear you. I actually don't need to add any commentary now. Thank you.
Just for my own calibrations, like is that feel like it's coming more from the place you're pointing to?
The place of truth, and there's a lot of nuance in the layers of the psyche, but it's still true. Yeah. Yeah.
But would you
Yeah.
call
There was a
it
blip. I'm
uh,
sorry.
yeah, go for it. Yeah, give me the blue.
There was just a blip of grabbiness,
Hmm.
just a blip, but I understand how you, when you have access to full consciousness, I understand how you hold that grabbiness. And I could also see the danger zone for you when you are not in full consciousness around it. And I could see how that would create a really terrible experience for a woman being in your field.
Yeah, can you say more? I want to make sure
Just
I'm
the extraction piece that you mentioned.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing, it's like back to what we were speaking about earlier. There is also self responsibility where I, as a woman, I will not allow myself to be extracted from. So there's also like it takes two to tango in all things. We know this, like of course. But the only thing that you have, you know, an invitation towards more mastery is like with yourself. And it doesn't really serve you to be grabby with that energy that is so delectable. It does not serve you. So, regardless of who it is that you are choosing or being with or whatever, or vetting, it ultimately comes back to you with you.
Yeah, I mean it's I understand that what we do and our intentions are not always the same. And of course, on an intention level, that's like quite
Yeah,
literally the exact opposite of what I want to do
exactly.
ever.
Exactly.
Um, but I think from a process perspective, part of what you're helping illuminate here is I want to be with a woman who I want to be able to have the experience I'm having right now, which is like being able to not have all the answers and not and be able to slow down and go like, where am I in all of this? And where like I don't want to have it all figured out. There are so many crevices and contours in consciousness, like in my own being and in connection that I don't know yet. And so I want to be able to like explore those knowing like I can navigate this. I just need a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think for people listening, it's like who's responsible for slowing things down? Like, who's responsible for asking for that space or creating that space or saying, "Hey, I need a minute." It's not the other person, you know. Of course, we want to be received when we say, "Hey, let's slow things down. I like need a minute." Like, yes. So that does depend on the other person being down for it. You know, only ones who, and I literally coach women on this all the time because, again, the really sensitive ones, especially if they're like, let's say newly dating again, or just like dipping their feet back into the pool, very often things will move very fast and they might go into freeze or fawn. They're very common for devotionally templated women to freeze or to fawn, especially fawn. Devotion and fawning, two sides of a similar coin. But they have to learn, literally they have to learn for themselves. They're the ones that get to ask for that slowing down so that they can be with the pulse that you're speaking to and have that like ooh, okay, like let me just, I don't have to know it all, let me just feel for a second. I literally tell women, if you need 30 seconds, you ask him for 30 seconds. You just tell him, literally, guys watch sports. You guys are used to play by plays, blow by blows. Just be like, hang on a second. I'm going to close my eyes. I need to go downwards and inwards and feel. I'm going to do this for 30 seconds. I'll be right back. And then you just like sit there and you do that. It's like, and you can say to the guy, like, I don't need anything from you. I literally just need 30 seconds to close my eyes and feel. Just like sit tight. And they'll respond. Men will totally listen to that. Vast majority of men will be like, cool, I completely have space for you to do that. What you guys usually can't get on board with is like, where the fuck did you go? Like, why did you just like dip out or freeze? And then it's very confusing because you get cut off from all of the signals that we're giving you, like cut off from the calibration. So, likewise for you, what you just said, what I heard you say is more so like, hey, I want to be able to not know everything. I want to be able to just like not have it all together and be in the unfolding and be in the discovery and have that be okay. It's like cool. And sometimes that will require you too to ask for space or like, hey, like let's just like take a pause here. I'm gonna just close my eyes. I'm not going anywhere. I still love you or whatever it is. I just need to feel. And it's so easy, and most people get real bent out of shape about having to ask for something like that. And it's very normal. I just want to normalize that for literally everyone listening, you know, super normal. So, yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that piece. That was really generative.
Yeah, it's like I feel like a really good example just from the other day. I was talking to a friend of mine and um long, well, it wasn't that long of a conversation, but basically the point got to being like, if you're about to have sex with a woman and she's saying, yes, I want to have sex with you, but she's not wet and you're about to
Hmm.
penetrate her, like in my world, that's a boundary violation. Like you're
I would
not,
agree.
Like you're
Yeah,
not listening. Like, and so it's really tough because he's, he was saying like, well, Forrest, you're creating the conditions to infantilize this woman. Like she's saying yes to sex, and you're saying that if I penetrate her, it's a boundary violation. And I'm saying, no, I'm not saying it's only the man's responsibility. I'm saying there's responsibility on both sides. It's like
correct.
she has a responsibility to say what's true for her, and
Well, yeah,
and you have a responsibility to also go, I'm not buying this right now. Like,
exactly,
so
exactly,
it's on both
exactly.
sides. It's on both sides.
Yes, 100%. Yeah,
It's in the situation. It's when I'm with a woman in this example, it's like it's her responsibility to say, hey, can I have 30 seconds, please? It's also my responsibility to notice. I think you need 30 seconds right now.
yeah. And that's the beauty of co-creation because sometimes one person is less resourced, i.e., hasn't slept,
Yeah.
hasn't eaten enough food that day. They don't have as much body awareness, and the other person does. And then it's like whoever is more resourced, can we help each other? And then another day it's going to be the other person who like has no awareness because they're just stressed. And then the other person, of course, can be like, "Hey, I think you might need to just go take a nap, love," you know, or whatever it is. So totally, like that's in that level, it's beautiful to be dependent on another person for it's like a backup option, but we still hold ourselves, we still have ourselves. Then they're the bonus, they're an addition, they're like, an amplifier. And then we really can help each other so, so, so much. And we can do this with friends too. It doesn't have to be just with like, intimate partners. Like we can absolutely do this with friends. So yeah. So good. I'm noticing, speaking of body sensitivity and awareness, it is absolutely my lunchtime. I have to get some food in me soon. um, Specifically carbohydrates, because I can tell my feet, despite the warm socks that I put on before we hit record, are definitely getting cold. So I'm wondering if there's anything else that, yeah, that you want to make sure that we cover or whatever else before we, yeah, wrap up for today.
I think it's great. Yeah, thank you. This has been a kind of a journey for me. There's quite a lot of psychic energy moving over here and stuff. It's been powerful. So
Can
I
you feel your feet on the ground?
can.
Well, that's good news. You're still on Earth and gravity still exists, and we're not spinning off into space yet, although we are spinning through space.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just well, I want to create an opportunity. If you want to plug any of your work, any of your offers, obviously I can link stuff in the show notes. So I want to create space for you to do that, and I just want to share my deep appreciation for you for this podcast and for who you are as a person and for your friendship. I love you and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Yeah, it has felt really good to do this with you. Very useful, very fun, very true. And yeah, I feel grateful as well. Thank you. So, plugs. Such a funny part of any podcast. Like, let me switch into business mode. It's like, look, if you felt something on this podcast that you're like, oh my gosh, I really resonate, or clearly there's something here for me, I think that's a better way to go about it. If you want to know more about my body of work, hit me up on Instagram at mythic.feminine. You can DM me, that's totally fine. Um, yeah, I have obviously more so containers for women, but I also work with couples. That's going to be a private container. I don't do group work with couples. It's really got to be, and it's specific to heterosexual couples. I apologize. I just don't have embodied experience to serve anyone else. So no shade at all. So much love. And, so a man and a woman, if you want to hit me up, find me and work with me, we can obviously do that. But the vast majority of my containers are going to be for women. Some of them are going to be like totally self-paced, like you have the opportunity to come inside, receive audio teachings and transmissions, and just move through at your own pace, which is so nourishing. I have heard very grounding, very nourishing to just like have access to, yeah, what I bring through on a day-to-day basis. So you can definitely enter that way. Obviously, I have live containers as well. So I would just say hit me up on Instagram, come on my mailing list. I can send you that link as well. Um, and yeah, I think the best way to get started, if people are like, ooh, what's she about? For women, is going to be called the dip. It's just a little dip of your toes into the waters. And if you like it, you can come closer. But that's a little bundle of about 13 or 14 teachings, and very easy to do on your own. Just listen, just audio. I don't even do video. It's like just listen, just go for a walk outside in nature, take it in, see how it lands in your body. Very gentle. And then, yeah, if you want the high octane stuff, that's, we do that in my one on ones. So I'm here for that too. It's just most people aren't ready for that. Anyway, thank you so much, Forrest. This has been awesome.
Thanks,
So,
Ginger. I'll link your
yeah,
mailing list and your Instagram in the show notes, and we'll do this again sometime.
happy to. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.